Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you guys have a fantastic day today. And Ashley, happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day as well, and I hope this work makes your day extra special. But to get us going before we get to the work set, what we have for you guys is a Sumo good morning for 5 reps into a windmill of 3 to 5 per side. We're going to grab a light to moderate dumbbell, pop it overhead into a nice overhead hold of 10 to 20 seconds per side. And then we're going to move into some dynamic triangle of 3 to 5 a side. You'll hit that for 2 rounds. What that's going to do is it's going to prime that upper body, that shoulder, plus work on a little bit of rotation, some hinging for the lower half of the body as well. After that, we're going to move into some dumbbell work. We're going to do a dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 2, into our dumbbell snatch for 1, and then move into a few nice dumbbell push presses for 3 reps. Repeat all that on the opposite side. And then move into some more kind of skill work for the upper body with a humeral glide to knee push-up and our prone shoulder raise for 6 to 10 alternating reps. So we're going to take some time to work on that press skill and then just open up that overhead position a little bit more. Using that for 2 rounds, then we're going to move into a little practice round to get you ready for action. And what we have for you guys is a nice shorter AMRAP. Yesterday's workout was a little longer. Today is about 12 minutes. We're looking at 6 alternating dumbbell snatches into 9 burpees and dumbbell push press for 12, 6 per side. So we're living with a single dumbbell today. So we're gonna have some fun with that, we'll enjoy it, and work on that unilateral work as we get ourselves going. So pause that video, take it down, get yourself ready for whatever you need to do or gather anything up. We're gonna get you guys warmed up and get you ready for action. All right, let's get our feet under those hips. We'll take the arms big and tall overhead. Let's set those shoulders and just shrug them up to the sky. We'll bring them back down, scratch our back, and then reach through the elbow. We'll come back up, big stretch. We're gonna shrug it. Come back down, we're gonna scratch our back again and reach. We'll come back up, big stretch. We'll take those hands out to the T. We'll turn them in and turn them out. Turn them in and out and in and out. Big stretch. We'll forward fold, touch those toes, walk up those shins, nice flat back. We're gonna come all the way down and frame our foot. We'll step it back into our lizard. Inside hand's gonna reach up. We'll bend in the 90s, we reach straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, pull back, and straight ahead, and pull back. Reaching up, we'll rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, plant the hand. Step back into our down dog, reaching those hips up nice and high, setting those shoulders. We're just going to walk our heels out a couple times. Just make sure everything feels pretty good. Good. We'll come back into our plank. We're going to step the other foot up. Inside hand is going to reach way up to the ceiling. Bend at the elbow. We're going to reach straight ahead. We're going to pull that arm back, straight ahead. Pull that arm back, reach straight ahead, and pull that arm. Big reach up to the sky. We'll rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up and plant that hand. Step back into our down dog. Reaching those hips, setting those shoulders. We'll walk our heels nice and slow, nice and steady. Just move back and forth. Back into our plank, tiptoe those feet up, and roll ourselves up, big tall stretch. Good, reach to one side, reach to the other side, come back down with those hands. Let's get you guys fired up. All right, if you need to do a little bit of extra work for your upper body, lower body, get prepped, please pause the video, take that down for yourself, whatever it happens to be, rock it, and then come back and join me. We're going to start working through that top phase. It's just going to involve getting that body just primed and ready to go. Our first phase of warm-up is going to start with a lot of hinging and some rotation. So what we're going to do is start off with our Sumo good morning. So what I'm going to do is get into that Sumo stance. I'm going to turn profile though so you guys can see my hip hinge. So my feet are wider than my squat stance, so I'm in my Sumo. Standing nice and tall, I engage through the glutes slightly. I pull my ribs in so I'm nice and balanced and neutral through the pelvis. I'm going to use my hands as a little hand reference if I need to. If I'd like to, you don't have to, but I like to do it gonna pull my hips back, softening my knees just a bit so I can really feel into those hamstrings. My big toe is down into the floor. I'm gonna make sure I keep that body position nice and strong. So as I hinge, I'm trying to hinge at the hip crease, drawing the hips back, and that's what is going to bring my chest towards the floor. I'm not trying to touch my chest to my thighs. I'm just coming down to about a 90-degree at the most, so parallel to the floor. Once I've done my 5 sumos, I'm gonna stay in this position. I'm gonna set myself up with one arm overhead in that good overhead position, so the armpit pointing forward. My other arm is gonna reach down towards the ground slightly, and I'm going to pull my hips back and then rotate at the little rib as I continue to reach up and reach down with the arms. I'm gonna take it as deep as I feel comfortable in terms of that range, and whatever range I can still maintain a good shoulder position. So that shoulder orientation is crucial. We've talked about this before, but what we want to focus on is this shoulder pointing straight ahead, but as I rotate, it's going to point that way. But I want to make sure it's pointing that way because my torso rotates, not because my shoulder rotates on its own. So we want that arm to move with the torso as one solid piece. So take your time with these. I know there's no tempo, but these are not meant to be done quickly. Just take your time, work to your range, and listen to that body. When we're done that windmill, we're gonna grab a light to moderate dumbbell or any type of load that you have that you'd like to use. We're gonna clean that dumbbell up to the shoulder and press it overhead. In that press overhead, we're focusing on a nice overhead hold. Armpit points straight ahead, ribs are in, glutes are tight, and my feet are nice and evenly balanced. So my whole foot is on the floor, but my weight is primarily through my midfoot. I push through that dumbbell, I'm active in that overhead position, and I'm nice and solid here. And I'm gonna hold this for 10 to 20 seconds. When I'm done, I'll switch sides, just a little clean, little press overhead. Again, setting that shoulder, actively pushing it through the ceiling, focusing on keeping those ribs in and that glute set. So I just want to make sure I keep that arm in place and my body nice and solid. Once I'm done that overhead hold, that nice isometric, I'm going to move back into my sumo stance, and I'm going to just open up that shoulder and T-spine a little bit more, working through some hinging. So one toe points directly to the side, the other toe is on an angle, and that makes my hips on this nice angle as well. My hand is going to be on the thigh, my other arm is going to be up to the ceiling, and I'm going to pull my hip back, which hinges the body slightly, and I take that arm down my shin as far as I feel comfortable. I need to be able to keep that arm pointing straight up to the ceiling the entire time, so I'm focusing on that nice overhead position, keeping that chest open as I keep that space between the shoulder and the neck. You can load this depending on your comfort with this movement, especially depending on what load you had in that overhead hold. You could just use that same dumbbell in that nice hinge and work on a loaded triangle. But that's up to you, and only if you feel comfortable with a load in that position. Quick little recap, we have a sumo good morning for 5 reps, into a windmill for 3 to 5 a side, dumbbell overhead hold of 10 to 20 seconds, nice isometric hold there, dynamic triangle of 3 to 5 per side for 2 rounds. We're going to take that through, working on some hinging, some rotation, and just priming up those shoulder positions to get some heat there. After this, we're going to move into some dumbbell skill work. So pause the video, get yourself ready, work on those movements, get that body feeling pretty good, and we're going to come at you with some dumbbell work. All right, our next phase of work is going to continue to work with the dumbbell. We're going to work on some skill developments. We're going to use that same complex that we like to use with our dumbbell snatch. So our dumbbell deadlift to sumo deadlift high pull to snatch. The only kicker is we're going to add in one more movement today from the snatch, and we're going to do some push press to get you ready for that nice drive overhead with the hips and legs. So what we're going to kickstart off with, I'm going to turn profile so you guys can see. I'm standing over top of the dumbbell. We're going to work that sumo deadlift today because that's going to work more so with our snatch that we're trying to build the movement for. So I stand right over top of the dumbbell. I pull the hips back and down so my chest is up. My hips are a little lower than normal or a conventional deadlift. And I'm going to push through those legs. So I want to think about opening up the hips and knees by standing up or pushing through the floor. I come back down to wherever I feel comfortable, working on my range, pushing through those legs to stand up, and then I go through that last rep, working again on pushing and feeling that extension of the legs and hips. After that, I'm going to use these legs to get that nice high pull going. So I'm going to get a little bit more juice on this leg. So I'm going to push through those legs to get those bodies, or that dumbbell, moving. So from the front, it's the same setup as I just had. I push through those legs to get that dumbbell moving, and then I guide it up to that high pull position. I'm not trying to hold it up here for any allotted time. I'm just hitting it up here and then coming back down. Guiding the dumbbell with the arm so it doesn't go flying all over the place. Once I've done that second rep, I'm going to come back down to the floor position, setting that position, building that momentum, and then snatching. So I push through the legs, pull into that nice landing position, that power, stand tall, and then bring the dumbbell back down. Once I've done that one snatch, I'm going to pull my feet back under my hips, dumbbells in the front rack position. I'm going to work on my push press. I'm going to work on that nice dip and drive to get the dumbbell overhead. So with the push press, I want this to be thought of more of a leg and hip exercise than shoulder exercise. Even though we are supporting and pressing with the arm, I want you to focus more attention to the dip and drive in terms of getting that dumbbell moving. So we get the dip, big push through the legs, and we continue the momentum with the arm in that push press. So timing in that is very important. That dumbbell should already be starting to lift off the shoulder before we start our press. So timing super important with that. So as a quick recap on that complex, we have the dumbbell deadlift, the dumbbell sumo deadlift. Both of those movements about finding that leg drive, getting some momentum on the dumbbell. Then we move into the snatch, where we continue that momentum as we pull into the power position of our receiving of the snatch. And then we get to practice that dip drive again with that good powerful leg drive for our push press in terms of getting that dumbbell overhead. From there, we'll repeat on the opposite side, take it down, and then we get to come onto the floor and continue working for those shoulders. So what's coming up next after we've done the complex on both sides is our humeral glide to knee push-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on my stomach. My hands are going to be just beside my ribs and my chest. My shoulders are nice and set, and my elbow is stacked over top of my wrist. From here, I'm going to pull my shoulders forward where I don't want them in a push-up, just so I can feel that compromised position. Then I'm going to pull them back into that back and set position. My wrist and elbow are still stacked. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in, squeeze my glutes, and then push through those knees into that knee plank position. So my hands are stacked underneath my shoulder. I'm nice and set in that knee plank, and I'm going to lead with my chest as I come down to the floor. I'm going to relax once I get there, and I'm going to reset this position. So I pull the shoulders forward to where I don't want them. I pull and set them to where I do. My ribs and hips pull in, push into that knee plank, and then from here I can set my ribs again, take a breath, tension, and lower down to the floor. So I'm working on those key points of the push-up. That stacked wrist, that set shoulder as it's backing down, preventing any of that glide during the movement. So we do that humeral glide so we can feel both sides of the movement, all right? That kind of compromised, internally rotated position, and that nice set position in the shoulder. So we want to isolate that shoulder position the entire time we're going through that range of motion. So take the time, really feel those pieces, and if you want to add a little bit of challenge to it, you can add in a 3-second or 5-second negative back down to the floor, but making sure we're leading with the chest and the chest touches first. Once we're done the humeral glide to knee push-up, we're going to continue to stay on the floor and work on opening up that overhead range. So my toes are going to be together. I'm going to push them into the floor. My glutes are going to get tight. I'm going to pull my ribs in, pushing my armpits down towards the floor. And I'm going to push my hands into the ground so I can feel that body position as I use the floor as assistance.
Now from here, I'm going to lift my right arm up, keeping my armpit facing towards the ground, but working on that good reach. Then I'm going to plant that hand down, setting that tension again, and lifting the other arm. So maintaining that good position, armpit facing the floor, and pressing down. So I'm not overly concerned about how high that arm gets in the beginning. Over time, you'll be able to start getting that arm higher and higher as we work towards our edge. What I'm more concerned about is the shoulder position. So the armpit is facing the floor. I have a space between my neck and shoulder. I'm nice and set here, and I maintain that same position as I lift that arm off the ground. So keep that in mind as we're playing around with this one. It's not about the height, it's about the position of the shoulder. So enjoy that one. It's going to be a nice feel after those humeral glide to knee push-ups, and it's going to generate a lot of heat and awareness in that shoulder for you.
As a quick recap, what we have is a dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull for 2, 1 dumbbell snatch. We'll pull into the front rack, and we'll do 3 dumbbell push presses. You can add in a pause, you can add in a tempo, it's up to you. But we'll flip sides, do that whole complex on the other side, go down to the floor, and we'll work on 3 to 5 humeral glide to knee push-ups, 6 to 10 alternating prone shoulder raises, and then repeat and take that down a few rounds, just again to get that body kind of feeling it, getting the shoulders ready, and figuring out what kind of load you want to use in today's workout. Pause the video, take that down, we're going to talk about the work set and get you guys fired up. Now the only movement left we have is to talk about in our work set that we haven't talked about is our burpee. But as a quick recap on this whole work set, what we have for you all, we have a 12-minute AMRAP, so nice set time, 12 minutes. It's not super short, not super long, it's just kind of dangling out in the middle section. We have 6 alternating dumbbell snatches from the floor, or whatever you feel comfortable with taking from the floor. So making sure that our back position is our primary focus when we're taking that dumbbell from the ground or somewhere below the knee. So making sure that back position is strong. We have 6 of those reps. Once we're done those 6, we'll put the dumbbell down, out of the way. We're going to move into the burpee. So we go through that burpee for 9 reps. So we have 2 variations, one of which we did yesterday in our work set, which is the squat thrust. Today, if you are looking at playing around with the burpee, the full burpee, giver. But I want you to leave that open that the squat thrust is still available if you'd like to use that as a replacement for the burpee. So what we have the burpee. Hands come down to the floor. I jump, lowering to the ground, pressing myself up, and finishing with that nice jump. Or I come down with the hands, and I step lower, and step my feet up. Finish with that little hop. Now either is okay, or a combination of the two. So if you feel more comfortable jumping and lowering, but then stepping up, awesome. If you want to step back, jump in, also awesome. Do what you need to do. That's going to allow you to maintain the best position possible. The thing we want to think about for the burpee, same rules apply that we want to think about for a humeral glide to knee push-up. We want to make sure that as we lower down, that elbow stays stacked over top of the wrist, that shoulder stays back and set, and those ribs stay in. So we're nice and solid. When we go to push up in that burpee, if we're super loosey-goosey and snake, we're going to put a lot more pressure on that shoulder to do that work. So if we can keep our midsection nice and solid, it's going to allow that shoulder to move and work more efficiently. And it takes a lot of stress off that joint. So really focus on that good core position and those key points we talked about in the humeral glide. Now if you're looking at the squat thrust, we have 2 variations of the squat thrust as well. We bring the hands down, we jump back, we jump in, nice and tall, or we come down, we step back, and we step in. Again, like the burpee, you can combo those 2 up, jump back, step in, whatever you need to do, whatever is going to give you the best position possible. But there is a key point we want to think about in the squat thrust as well, and that's keeping that shoulder stacked over top of the arm, keeping those ribs pulled in nice and tight, and keeping that good tight midsection going all the way through that set. So regardless of like the movement or how tired you get, I want you to really focus on that good strong shoulder position and and that shoulder staying over top of the hand. So that'll keep you nice and strong and allow those legs to do the jump in, jump out. That allows them to work very well and efficient. We have 9 burpees in this work set. Once you're done your 9th burpee or squat thrust, you'll jump up, you'll clean the dumbbell up. We're going to take down 6 dumbbell push press on one side, 6 dumbbell push press on the other side, and then repeat. If you'd like to go right into your snatches from that push press, you can, or you can put it down, quick shakeout, take it down from there. So break this work set down, take it down as much as you need to in pieces or chunks, but I want you to have a ton of fun with this one. Lots of overhead today, and a lot of upper body, so if you need to give yourself a little extra love in that upper body, please do so. Get yourself ready, and like I say, have tons of fun. Quick recap again, 12 minutes, dumbbell snatch for 6, burpee for 9, dumbbell push press for 12, 6 per side, over and over again. Take it down until 12 minutes is up. Have a great day. Have a fantastic birthday, Ashley. I hope you enjoy. As always, you guys work for quality. Have tons of fun. We'll see you tomorrow for some more fun programming. Bye, you guys.